Hello, besties! Welcome to Martinis with Eddie. Welcome to the ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork all the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV show. And when I say juicy, I'm talking about crazy this week. Because when you think Vanderpump Rules can get any crazier, a brand new episode drops and it literally said, Hold my martini. And the latest episode is truly a turning point for the Scandoval of it all. Um, I have so many opinions, you guys. I think let's start with James Kennedy, who it's not holding back at this point. James Kennedy is truly rising to the occasion and basically being the number one guy on the show this season. Um, we all know that Ali shared with him that Sandoval and Rachel were dancing at the Abbey by themselves. And that triggers a new domino effect on different events because now all eyes are on Sandoval and Raquel. Katie kind of insinuated that Ariana and Sandoval have an open relationship. Ali asked Sheena if it was true or not. Sheena denied it. And it seems like even James Kennedy feels like they maybe do have an open relationship because we all know that Lala, went down on Ariana in the back of Tom Sandoval's car. But we gotta make something very clear, and I think we as an adult we need to talk about it. Before I continue though, I get some messages saying that I cuss a lot and I say fuck a lot. Well, this is a conversation between adults. Um, I'm talking to you like I talk to my friends. You are my friends, and I cuss a lot and I say fuck, and that's how it is. You know, put the kids away. This is not a conversation for kids. Uh, Especially because we are gonna get into a lot of sex conversation in this episode because it's mainly what they've been talking about, the encounter between Rachel and Sandoval, and also the possibility of you know her actually doing it with him before we thought. At this point they were already fucking. I mean, that there's no doubt about it. Everybody knows it, kind of. I mean, I'm starting to believe that everybody in that show had a sense of kind of like they were starting to sniff the lies. The lies were starting to fall apart, and even Sandoval in the confessionals, he's not looking very convincing. The smiles, the weird attitude when he's asked about Rachel, it was awkward as fuck. You know, um, like currently the main issue that Lala and Katie have with Rachel is not even the Ariana and Sandoval, situation. At this point, that was not the kind of like the storyline. We haven't gotten to that point like full throttle. We are still in the um Swords and Rachel making out at uh, uh Sheena's wedding in Mexico, and the topic is that Katie still can't get over the fact that they did that when she specifically asked them not to do it with anyone in the friend group. I still think that Katie has all the right to be upset with Sword because he was the one who broke the promise. I mean, it's hard. It's kind of hard, you know, to um to take a side on this one, I believe, just because, yeah, I mean, they were separating, they were going to get divorced. It's not like Swords has any um, owes anything to Katie to not do whatever he wants to do. But in this case, she was very specific, and he went with it. He said, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." And then he goes, turns around, and start messing around with Rachel. Which, by the way, I still um, think that she used him for screen time. I mean, I don't think Rachel was in any form or attracted to Swords. I don't think she was truly attracted to him, but he was attracted to the opportunity to be that girl on the show, to be kind of like the center of conversation. And she saw Swords as, an easy pass into fame on the show. I mean, she went from Peter to Oliver to Swords back to Oliver, and behind the scene with Sandoval. I mean, obviously there is a thinking that in some way somehow these guys are gonna get her to have the main stage on the show. I hope, I truly hope that Katie went hard on Sandoval, because on one of the confessionals, she said that if Sandoval will ever cheat on Ariana, she will kill him, like physically kill him. And I'm not here for her to to get physical with him, or you know, but I do hope that she gave him a hard freaking time at the reunion, because he deserves it. You know, he was hiding all the stuff from his friends, from Ariana, and lying, like, he didn't care what he said on the confessionals. He really was trying to keep everything on the DL with Rachel. And I feel bad for Swords too sometimes, because he's telling Sandoval, like, hey, I have a gut feeling that she's liking somebody else, that she doesn't like me back. I mean, there is no sexual chemistry. Yeah, we made out, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else. And she seems to be interested in somebody else. He's telling this to Sandoval while Sandoval was already fucking with Rachel. So he was lying to his best friend, he was lying to his girlfriend, he was lying to all the people in his life. And for what? Like, he was definitely having a midlife crisis, because, I mean, how can you go from escapading with Rachel to a doctor appointment to fertilize Ariana's eggs? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's truly a child, behavior. This is children's play. He is acting like a child, not taking any accountability. He's not taking anything seriously. The, I mean, that's why Swords said on Watch What Happened Live that time that Rachel is kind of like, you know, Sandoval's drug of choice. Because when you need to hide something so badly and lie to everybody, it is kind of like an addiction. It is an addiction. When Katie and Lisa Vanderpump and Ariana were talking about the sandwich shop, Lisa said that not everybody in that group has like the high horse of moral to be judging Rachel. She was talking about Oliver's, making out session and going on a date with him, and people were calling her a mistress. I mean, yeah, at that point, Lisa is kind of right. I mean, she wasn't going out with somebody who she thought it was in a relationship, and that's completely fair. But like I always say, you guys, do not go on dates with somebody who hasn't signed the papers and the ink is not dry, because you still are gonna be considered the side chick. You're always gonna be considered the mistress. You're gonna be um, still breaking a family, even though the family is already broken. You come in and just bulldozer the whole thing. Let that family deal with their issues, sign those papers, and when that is signed and dry, go ahead and have a date, make out the club, do whatever you want to do. So in on that level, I agree with Katie, and the fact that she feels like, Rachel is a little bit of a hoe. I'm not calling her a hoe. I'm just saying what Katie said. But yeah, it can go in a really really weird blur line way, because yeah, Oliver is separating, but obviously there is some issue that haven't been resolved and that affected Rachel, and she learned nothing from this, absolutely nothing, because then she went ahead and she started like, messing around with somebody who's been in a relationship for 10 years. And yes, a lot of people say that Sandoval and Ariana were on the edge of breaking up, but they weren't. They were not over. She was going to a therapist to help understand Sandoval's needs and vice versa. So they were trying to work things out. No matter how late it was, they were still not done. So that's when the pain and the hurt coming into play. Like, just make sure that the person that you are going out with is not in a relationship, or at least is the relationship is over. Like Sandoval going to the doctors to get his G's result, and calling Ariana while her grandma passed away. She is with her family, she's away, to give her the news. And based on what I'm seeing, he probably hung up on Ariana and then called uh, Rachel to meet up and do whatever. A lot of stuff happened while Ariana was away when her grandma passed away. That's how disrespectful Sandoval was of this relationship, and the way that he treated Ariana. That's what I'm pissed about. Most people are using this scandal for likes, for comments. Um, it's becoming a little weird at this point. The way that I see some content made out of there from the scandal, just for like shit and giggles. But at the same time, we gotta realize that there are people involved with true feelings, and the person who got the most pain out of this was Ariana. You know, fact that, well, she is in pain from losing not only her fur baby, Charlotte, very recently, then she loses her grandma. And she goes to be with her family. And this motherfucker have Rachel at their home in the hot tub. And we find out because as we watch on the trailer for the next episode, Ken I'm telling you, Ken was like, I might not be on the show 24/7, but when I'm on it, I'm on it. Like, he came into that kitchen, dropped the bomb. The Sandoval was with Rachel while Ariana was away in a hot tub, and Katie's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Crazy, nuts, completely nuts. I mean, give Ken a diamond or whatever. He should be in the next Vanderpump Rules intro. He should be in the middle. Like, when they put the whole cast and Lisa is always in the middle. I think we should put Ken right there, because that is the bomb that I think it just completely destroy every single like mind in that show. That is like a mind blowing bomb. At that point, I think that's when everybody started to like, oh shit, there's more to this story. They're not just friends, you know. Ali asked Sheena if she will trust Brock in the same bed with Rachel, and Sheena said like, I will trust him. You know, I will trust him with her at any time. I don't care. I will trust him in the same bed with her. And I want to know what she has to say now. I posted that on Twitter, and she retweeted that post with a quote saying, "You will find out on my podcast this Friday." And trust me, I'm gonna be listening to it because I want to know her opinion. I literally said I would like to know how Sheena feels about this now, because Rachel ended up being that girl. That's when Ali and Sheena were talking, and Ali asked her if she would trust Brock with Sheena at 1 a.m. in the morning in a club, and Sheena said that she will trust him with her in the same bed. I think that it's not the same feeling anymore. We all know that they they um they got into a physical altercation while they were in New York City when the whole scandal dropped in the news and it became a public situation. Another cast fight that I'm truly enjoying at this point, it's James Kennedy and Swords. They went to this beach day, and you know, James was sharing to the group that he was going to open for Cascade, and Swords, being the silly puppy dog, compared that to Rachella, and that shit pissed James the fuck off. He went off on Tom Swords. Um, he literally called him a piece of shit, a fucking demented piece of shit for comparing both situations, especially because he said it. I completely get why James got upset. It felt like a slap on the face to compare a happy milestone in his life to a very sad milestone in his life. One, it's a dream of him of being a successful DJ, and little by little coming true. And then on the other hand, you have him proposing to Rachel during Rochella, and then breaking it up at the reunion and being at the place that they are right now. I would be pissed too, because you are trying to tarnish my achievement. I see where he's coming from, and Swords is like, yeah, it was just a joke. I'm not trying to uh to say anything. It was just a joke. And James added to that. Um, he said to Sword that he hasn't even opened up the shithole bar in the middle of the corner of Silver Lake in the fucking poop hole village. If that wasn't a top tier Bravolet read, that was incredible because it's so true. It actually give you a read with geography. That was a location, that was a read, that was the library that was open, and a map what came out, a map of LA, and he said right here in this little corner is when your shithole bar is located. When is it gonna open? Tell me, when is it gonna open? Open it up. Come on. I appreciate that about Jane. He's really quick with his reads. The way that he shade and drag people is really on point. I want to study James Kennedy's brain because I don't have that quickness. I don't have that wittiness. I don't have that way of saying not shit out of my mouth right in the spot. And to be honest, I'm gonna be using that one day when I tell somebody that whatever shit they have is located in the poop hole village. That shit is funny. I mean, let's be honest. James Kennedy is turning out to be the number one guy in that show. The only part that I do not agree with James is tossing the water on Sword's face. But because I said it before, and I don't want people to think I'm being hypocritical. I always say when a housewife get physical or they decide to toss water on somebody, I see that as a sign of complete disrespect. I feel like it's not the way to handle anything. I think just with word, with just saying what he said about the bar, that was enough because it was amazing. That was on point. It stripped Swords from any defense that he had, and he was feeling small and smaller and smaller. But tossing the water to me was a little too much. But I'm gonna say one thing. I'm happy the Swords is getting a taste of his own medicine because he is very his tactic is to literally toss water or drinks on ladies sometimes. We saw what he did to Katie, you know? So I'm happy that he is learning how it feels when somebody disrespect you to that level. The other fight in the latest episode that I was rolling on the floor because it was another read to the gods, dragging swords in the mud and back, was when Lala told him that he was a fucking loser that was broke. And he tried to go for her looks. He called her a bootleg housewife. You know, he also called her the corniest person in the bar, and he walked away when he was trying to make fun of Lala's podcast Give Then Lala. And Lala was like, "Hold on 1 second, you fucking loser. You're not going away. I'm gonna come here and you're gonna listen to me and I'm gonna tell you how I feel." And she made sure to let him know how she felt about him. A lot of people don't like Lala. I see it in my comments. I mean, people say she's being hypocritical. She doesn't have the right to complain. She was with Randall and all the stuff. We know the story. I understand, but at the same time, I can also see how she has the right to defend herself from Swords. She has the right to be mad at Swords for playing pickleball, which, by the way, it sounds like a loser game. Like, who plays pickleball? I don't. I honestly, I have never met somebody who actually plays pickleball for like fun. Never in my life until I watched Vanderpump Rules, and was Randall the one who brought pickleball into the show. So I'm still like wondering who plays that game. I want to know. Please let me know. I want to play with you. I want to learn because even the word pickleball sounds like a loser game. So when um when Lala confronted Swords, she said, you know, "You're a loser. You're broke." Was she lying? She was not lying. He is losing money for not opening the show. I mean, for not opening the restaurant. We still haven't had a date on the show. Obviously, it's open right now, but he was losing money left and right for not opening Swords and Sandy's at this point. And everybody's telling him like, "Hey, what's happening?" That's why Sandoval gets offended too because he knows that they're talking about him too. That's how they feel about him too when they talk about the restaurant. I gotta say one thing. Ali, James Kennedy's girlfriend, has become the most rational person in the show. Like she has maybe because she's new to the dynamic of the show, she has fresh eyes to the whole entire group. She said, "It's weird that I'm in this group and everybody here is an ex to somebody in the show in the group, right?" And it's true. Everybody in that friend dynamic, somebody else's ex. Also, she was the one who spot Sandoval and Rachel at the Abbey. Unlike other people who are friends with them for a long time, she felt that the interaction was weird. That was beyond just being friends. It was beyond just being friendly. She spotted because she doesn't know the dynamics in this group. Everybody else is making excuses for that situation. Lala said, "Yeah, they're friends. I mean, in this group of friends, we have such a weird um, chemistry that it doesn't seem weird to me." Um, James Kennedy said, like, don't think too much into it. Don't put too much thoughts into this. There's nothing happening. And then we have Katie also questioning, saying, yeah, it might not be nothing more than just them having a good time. Obviously, because everybody is upset at Tom Schwartz, they started to like maybe going hard on Sandoval, but not necessarily because they believed that they were doing something between him and Rachel. They are just looking for any excuse to dislike Rachel. But was Ali wrong? Even she has enough in her brain to call out James Kennedy when he is going overboard with his behavior. Anyone would expect their girlfriend to be on their side 24/7 no matter what. The people who truly love you will call your shit out right on the spot. And I liked the fact that Ali told James Kennedy to sit down and shut up when he was being loud and obnoxious. I was enjoying it because I'm watching a TV show, but I'm 100% sure that being involved in that scene and just sitting there as everybody is yelling at each other. James Kennedy is calling Swartz names. Swartz is calling Kennedy names. Swartz is fighting with Lala. Lala is yelling in the middle of the restaurant. If you're new to a group dynamic, I'm sure you will be upset too, you know? And James trying to make excuses for his behavior, it was just silly. It was stupid. So I'm happy that Ali just looked at him and said, she looked at him and said, sit down and shut up. And he sat and shut his mouth because he just wants to make sure that his girlfriend is fine. And that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you need somebody to bring you back to earth. That's why I like their dynamic. I do believe that Ali and James Kennedy has something good. Is James Kennedy smart enough to keep it in his pants, to focus on their relationship, to forget about Rachel? He has something really good with Ali because Ali, the quiet one, the one that came on the show being really quiet, is calling all the shots in a very, very subtle way. Like she's not on your face type of girl. But when she says something, she means it. And it's like, you know, I'm going to put my foot down right now because you're acting stupid. And that is somebody you want to keep in your life. That's a keeper. That's somebody you keep. You don't need ass kissers 24/7. It's a lie. Those people who tell you need to have a partner who always agree with you or wait for you to be in private to tell you what's happening. No, 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 none of that shit. You want somebody to call your shit out right on the spot, so it brings you back to earth, and you start thinking clearly once again. And that's what Ali is doing to James, because James is always being the wild card. James has always been the funny guy who can go for your throat, and that's why I like him. I like people who are like that. I like people who have no filter, and they know how to read people, and they know how to like throw a jab and make it funny, but knowing that it's gonna hurt the moment that you realize what he's saying. I like that about him. But sometimes you need somebody to tell you, "Yo, that went too far. Like, sit down and shut up." There was an argument between Sandoval and Katie, and at that moment, I realized that Katie, she started to feel like something else is happening because she called Tom Sandoval's ways very manipulative because he's deflecting at all times. When she was telling him about how she felt about, you know, him going with Rachel to the Abbey, and she brought it up, and he started to deflect that conversation. She felt like he was hiding something. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I said Sandoval's behavior in this episode is so chaotic. He's trying so hard to lie and keep this lie under the table as long as he can. That even if we did not know anything about Scandoval, with these episodes, we will know that something else is happening without knowing Scandoval. Because yeah, right now we might see stuff differently. We might spot the lies immediately because we know what happened. But I think 100% based on this past two episodes and what is coming now, which is Ken bringing that tea that Sandal was with Rachel in a hot tub while Ariana is in Florida, dealing with the loss of her grandma. Even if we did not know anything about Scandal, we will know that there are stuff happening behind doors and something was going to come up. And it's heading in that direction. Like finally the wheels are turning. Like we are moving away from Tom Swartz and Rachel. Literally that was for one episode. And it's really funny because I feel like when the show first aired, when the season started, before the scandal of it all, it felt like this season was going to be all about Tom Swartz and Rachel's, and then like one episode at the end with Scandal because it happened after it was filmed, right? So now we know that the scandal was escalating and brewing way before, and for some reason we were sold the idea that it was Tom Swartz and Rachel, that it was going to be the main storyline of the season. They lasted one episode. There was only one kiss so far. And Swartz is complaining that Rachel doesn't seem interested anymore. So that ship sailed. That ship sailed. And every single person is starting to question Sandoval at this point. So I wonder if anyone brought this up to Ariana. And maybe Ariana said, you know what, I don't believe it. They're just friends or something like that. That's what I question. I wonder if anyone on that friend group went to Ariana and said, like, hey, when you were away, something started to feel fishy around here. Um, I do know, based on what Sheena said on the show, on the latest episode, is that she didn't text Ariana because of her grandma passing. when she was talking to Ali about Sandoval and Rachel being at the Abbey at 1 in the morning, she said, "I will text Ariana right now," but she is, grieving the loss of her grandma. So I'm wondering if people kept this quiet and they're questioning quiet because Ariana was going through a hard time. I do hope somebody start kind of like bringing it up and like putting in her ear, so so she's ready. We are heading towards the end of the season, you guys. Soon enough, we're gonna have those episodes when they were filmed after the fact. I just wonder if they re-edit these current episodes so it makes sense towards the end of the season. That's all I wonder. I do wonder if they took the time to go back to the editing room and make decisions to change the story as we know it. I wonder if the show was going in a whole different direction, and when the whole scandal happened, they started to focus on that. I have a feeling that maybe that happened with some episodes towards the end. Like at this point, they are heavily focusing on the Sandoval escapade with Rachel at 1 a.m. in the morning. I wonder if Scandoval didn't happen, we will have a whole different edit of the show, and maybe hint little pieces about Rachel going around with all the guys, including Sandoval. But if Scandal didn't happen, will we have a different show? That's a question that I have. Because at this point they were still filming. This is not the point of the story when they put the cameras down and it happened after. No, this is still during the season. This is still happening during the filming of the season. So was a sword story just a way to trick the viewers into not focus on Sandoval, but at this point it's inevitable? So many questions. And I actually enjoy talking about this part because I went to school for filmmaking, so I understand how editing and how production works and how editing changes narrative really easily. That's how I see reality TV from two perspectives. I always watch the shows from two different angles. From the angle of a fan, a viewer who's enjoying what I'm fed through, the show and whatever, the stories and the characters and all the stuff. I take it for what it is. I take it the way that it's edited, and I'm taking it the way that the producers and the people who run the production side want us to take the show as. But on the other hand, I have a perspective as somebody who understand uh, production and understand how editing can change 100% a whole story. A character can create um, dynamics that even are not even real. You know, it can make a really good person look like an asshole. And we as viewer know that too. Like we talk about the bad edit, we talk about the villain edit. It happens a lot of times. So I always question if Sandoval and Rachel's news didn't um, make the news before the reunion, I wonder if the stories that we'll be following right now will be different and the show will be a whole different edit. And I wonder if you guys question the same thing too. I wonder if you guys sometimes wonder, like, hey, this seems to be too on the nose. Because as we watch the episodes, like I said it before, if we didn't know anything about Scandoval, if we didn't know what happened, we will still sense that there is way more than just a friendship between Sandoval and Rachel. Just by watching the last episode, you will know. Just by watching the trailer for the next episode, you you know. That preview for the next episode, every single person is questioning that friendship, quote unquote. I'm just living for this renaissance of Vanderpump Rules. And I'm not just talking about the scandal. A lot of people feel like scandal was the reason why this season is so successful. Yes, I will say maybe 70%, maybe 60% of it has to do with scandal and in the reaction that the public had when the news broke out. But I feel like Vanderpump Rules is going back to what it was before, a group of messy ass people that just don't give a fuck. That even though they are older, I mean, obviously, they are not the same early 20s kids that started the show like a decade ago. You know, Tom Sandoval, Swords, and they are in the like 40. They're not kids anymore, but they still have the very I don't give a fuck attitude. So to me, it's that the selling point of Vanderpump. It's their behavior, the way that they talk, the way they don't care, and with James Kennedy like in the engagement, um, and him going back to his like unhinged behavior. That to me is a big part of why Vanderpump Rules is thriving. It must be because most of them are single now. Because before for maybe like 2 3 seasons, everybody was in a relationship. Everybody was married, um, you know, stable relationship and all this stuff. The only person right now in that show that is stable in their relationship is Sheena and Brock, and Ariana and Sandoval at that point too. But they were in a rocky, phase. They were rocky, So I love that about this show when they just go freaking nuts, and the stories are just even crazier. Vanderpump Rules has been my favorite non-housewife Bravo show since the day that it airs. Um, I had the feeling last season that a lot of people were giving up on the show. People wanted it to be canceled, that it was time to move on, that they were not given anything. And I'm happy that I stuck around. I still loved last season, and I love this season even more. Yeah, that is to me that's why I love Vanderpump so much. And we're gonna have more of this crazy conversation next week because, as you guys know, that trailer is nuts, 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 nuts. So let's move to the OC because the OC brought some orange to our life. And I want to know what you think, you guys, because I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to act as if I'm like dying or shaking, like some people say. I'm shaking. I'm like, I'm not shaking. That was barely a, it was, I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. That trailer for the OC didn't give what I was expecting. It didn't give anything, actually. If you think about it, it doesn't show anything about the show. It doesn't show if there what the storylines are. It doesn't show what I was expecting. We waited for what, like 3 months since like January that they've been hinting um this trailer, and the only thing that people been talking about for months is how was going to be incredible because Andy said so. And to be honest, I'm once again underwhelmed with Orange County. Orange County, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's not my favorite franchise. It's not my favorite Housewives show. It's actually one of my least favorites. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's interesting. I don't think it's iconic. Yeah, it was the first one, but that doesn't mean that it to me is the most memorable. Um, I always said that Orange County is just soccer moms that are a little rich. The only time the in Orange County we saw real wealth was when Heather Dubrow joined the show. Before that, it was just rich soccer moms to me, at least to me. You know, some people like this franchise. Some people live for the OC ladies, and that's completely fine. And I'm not saying that they're not interesting people. I do like them. I met some of them during BravoCon. I love Heather Dubrow. Um, Gina was super nice. Emily was super nice. Tamra was super nice. So them as people are nice people, but the show as a franchise to me doesn't bring anything that really get me excited for it. And I was very excited with Tamra coming back to the show, but lately I'm kind of like disappointed, especially after going to like really hard on Teresa for no fucking reason and promising to reveal a 15-year secret. Like that's not your fucking business, Tamra. Like stick to Orange County, you know, because I'm 100% sure if this season doesn't give what they expect them to give, there's nothing to save. There's nothing to save on that franchise. Tamra was like the saving grace that they are hoping it to be, but based on the on the trailer, I'm not that excited. I heard that Tamra is the one that brings the newbie on the show, right? She brings the newbie, and their dynamic changes. Her name is Pedranti, and she's introduced to the ladies through Tamra, right? They are both into fitness and Tamra used to own the gym and whatever, and Jennifer Pedranti owns a yoga studio, so they have that fitness connection. Um, but it seems like this dynamic change on the show. Surprise, surprise, a friendship gets destroyed by joining the show. It's like Housewife 101. It feels like every single person that brings a friend on to the show is just end up being like their enemy. It's like the Lisa Rena of Beverly Hills. That she brings every friend to it and every friend just becomes their enemy. Yeah, I mean if you think about it, Garcelle, Denise, Sutton, they were all Lisa Rena's friends. They were introduced as Lisa Rena's friends, and now they hate her, and rightfully so because Rena is quite the rat. Uh we do know that Jennifer Pedranti is separating from her husband. They still live together, and that's gonna be interesting to watch. I mean, I don't understand how you are separating from your husband, but you guys still live under the same roof. Like that doesn't make any sense. How can you move on from your own life if you're gonna be stuck in a house with this person, even if you're trying to date or not? It's kind of awkward and weird. That's just my opinion. Like find yourself an apartment or live next door or something. If you want to stick around because of the kids or whatever, that's fine. But in the same roof, weird. Weird. Another friendship that are shifting, you guys, and I'm kind of surprised of that one, is Gina, Emily's, and Heather. It seems like they are not as close because Tamra. It seems like Gina and Emily are going to be leaning more on Tamra this season. I want to know why. I want to know why. Because in the last season they were living up Heather's ass. They literally had real estate up Heather's ass. But on this season there is a change of dynamics. Another Housewife 101. We have Heather and Whitney in Salt Lake City. We have now um, Emily, Gina, and Heather. You know, it seems like everybody in the Bravo universe friendship is just shifting. We have Danielle and Lindsay. We have Carl and Kyle on Summer House. I just hope, and I'm just saying this from the bottom of my heart, I do not want Garcelle's and Sutton friendship to shift. I don't need them to not be friends. I need them to be friends every single season. I don't care. That's the only thing that I want because their friendship is legit, is real, and I don't want something real to get ruined by a reality TV show. Heather Dubrow, on the other hand, she is focusing on herself and her marriage with Terry Dubrow since the kids are gone for college. You know, they are looking into purchasing a swanky penthouse in LA, like a really, really fancy LA penthouse. And Heather is focusing again on her career, which, by the way, is the reason why Taylor and Heather have a kind of like a an argument or a fight. Is because Taylor Armstrong was offered a role in a movie, and she was looking for advice with Heather, and it seems like that didn't go so well. I wonder who was the one um, who is at fault on this clash of the actresses. Or yeah, I guess. I don't know. Is Taylor Armstrong an actress? I don't know. I never seen her outside of the Real Housewives. If you seen her in any movie or show, let me know because the last thing I know is the Taylor is just a reality TV star. So I don't know how she got offered a movie role. Is she playing herself? I don't know. But yeah, that's the reason why Taylor and Heather have a fallout because it seems like that conversation or that didn't go so well. Shannon and Tamra finally are back together, the two amigas, and as we know, Vicky also makes an appearance on this season. Um, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because Vicky, last time that we saw Vicky was like what 4 years ago, and now she's back as a friend of, and she is going to be, hanging out with Tamara and Shannon. I'm 100% sure that that's going to be one of those very dramatic moments for the season. My biggest fear though is that when it comes down to the Orange County, they are trying to hype up this comeback so bad. They are hyping up Tamra's comeback as like one of the craziest, first episode when a new housewife comes back to their show, or hyping up Vicky coming back, to do whatever. I'm not a fan of Vicky. I think she is rude. I think she's entitled. I think she has an ego as big as, I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it. But she has a big ego. She seems very rude. Um, I don't think she's that funny. People think she's funny. I don't find Vicky funny. I I'm happy with her gone. But if she's back, that's cool. But I do not understand why Bravo is hyping this stuff up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we are let down once again. But we are gonna give the OC a chance. I'm gonna be watching like you guys. You know that we love Housewives. Even if the season sucks, we are just here for the entertainment. And seeing old faces back on the show is always a way to bring nostalgia and bring the viewers to just get a little glimpse of the life of iconic housewife like Vicky and Tamra. Tamra is um, dealing with a few shifts in her personal life. On this season, she is trying to get back with Shannon, their friendship back on track. And she brings a new friend to the mix with Jennifer, who also meets Taylor through Tamara, and you have three blondes that pretty much look the same. Also, is it just me? But her story, Jennifer Jennifer's story sounds a little very similar to the last housewife from the last season. Not Noella. I always forget her name. The one with the Chihuahua and the hot husband. They will always walk around shirtless. The one there is a plastic surgeon, or not like a plastic surgeon. She's just like she is just a esthetician and applies like Botox and stuff. What's her name? What's her name? I'm trying to remember. Jen Armstrong. Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. Jen Armstrong, right? Jen Armstrong, and you have Jen Pedranti, and you have Taylor Armstrong. So basically, if you put them together, is Jen Armstrong. So we are getting the same person this season, you guys. Just dividing it between two people. She actually, I mean, it feels like the OC always bring the same type of people all the time. And that's why I'm not really that invested on the show. I just want them to prove me wrong on this season. The trailer, like I said before, give nothing. Um, it's just little like little short clips of like them going on trips and fighting and uh, vintage housewife clips in between from like the 50s and 60s, which I'm still like wondering, like doesn't make any fucking sense. I know that they're trying to recreate like commercials from like the 50s, very like Stepper Wives and kind of stuff, but I'm not impressed. Not at all. Not at all. If you are excited for the OC, I want to know, what are you looking for into to see on this season? I want to know if you're excited for Tamara to come back, if you're excited for Vicky to come back, if you're excited to meet this new housewife. The most excited I am, to be honest, is to see Taylor back on any form or capacity to the Bravo universe, because I like Taylor. Taylor was one of those people that had the chance to be a staple of the Beverly Hills, but she had that issue with her husband. We know the story, we know what happened after, and I feel like that was a really heavy weight for her to carry on national TV. So I can see why she maybe didn't want to come back to Beverly Hills. But now, many years later, I was excited to see her back on Ultimate Girls Trip. That was amazing to see her back. And when she was announced to be the first housewife to make a full crossover from one city to another one, that made me excited. I was hoping for her to be a orange holder, but we getting a friend of position, and I'm fine with that. I'm the most excited to see Taylor. That's what I'm excited about. So I want to know, you guys, what is your expectation of this season? What you want to see, who you want to see, and what you're looking forward to. Because we start OC on June 7th at 8 p.m. on Bravo and the next day on Peacock. And you know damn well that I'll be recapping those episodes. So if you are enjoying my recaps and you enjoy my talks and my nonsense, and I would really appreciate if you can go and subscribe to this podcast, Martini with Eddie. You can find it on every single podcast platform. I do 2 to 3 episodes a week, 2 recaps, one guest. By the way, I do have a guest tomorrow. Keep an eye on it. Uh, she's one of my favorite people in Bravo. Trust me, it's gonna be fun. Um, if you are enjoying this, if you're enjoying it, just please give it a follow and also subscribe to the podcast. Leave a rate because we as podcasters, we survive through the love that comes from you guys. Also, you can find me on YouTube. On YouTube, you can see the podcast live and also the replays. But if you come live, you can also share your opinions on the chat right here. I want to say hello to Kane Cordova. You're here. I see you. Thank you so much for being here. You can leave notes. You can leave opinions. Also, please follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want extra tea, you can find it at Martini with Eddie on Twitter and Instagram. I'm telling you, juicy stuff. You're gonna love that. And my own personal website is martiniwitheddie.com. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. And like I always said, obviously go subscribe. Very important. Like I always say, have a great night. Bye, besties.